Hey friends, Megan McIntosh here. Welcome to this video. I hope you are doing well, and today I have a super exciting topic for you that is all about how to improve your sales skills through coaching, and also what are the specific sales skills that you should really improve on continuously, and what are the ones that you don't have to worry as much after you've trained and coached on them. So if you're there live, let me know. Please drop a 1 down below in the comments if you're watching right now. If you're watching the replay, please drop a 2 down below. If you're someone who wants to really attract premium clients, but not only attract them, but retain those clients and get referrals and testimonials, this live is really going to help you, because sales is really the key thing that you need to consistently implement to retain those clients, to attract those clients. And so we're going to talk about what is coaching in terms of sales coaching, in terms of mindset coaching. Why are there certain skills that you just keep having to hone in on over and over again? And what are those specific skills that you should be learning if you are a creative entrepreneur, if you're a coach, if you're someone that is freelancing, or someone who specifically needs to get out there and sell yourself. You could be a personal brand even, because right now there is so much competition out there in the online space. There's so much competition in the business world that you need to get really good at your sales skills to be able to get your clients, attract them, be unique, be different, stand apart, but at the same time build those relationships. So there's so many different things that you need to be on top of, and so that's what I'm going to share with you today. So first off, the key thing is that when you're coaching with someone, now if you're in a corporate world, in corporate setting, you may have a sales manager. I used to be a sales manager. I had a team of sales reps, so I had to learn how to coach them and manage them in terms of making sure we were hitting our sales targets, as well as what are the type of sales skills that we needed to work on if things weren't, we weren't reaching our targets. So, but if you're doing this as your own business, or you're a personal brand, or you're doing social media, or you're a coach, you kind of have to do that for yourself unless you have a coach. And so you sort of have to be your own accountability person. If you don't have a manager, you're the one that has to hold yourself accountable. So it is possible to self-coach yourself and keep track of your skills, make sure you're holding yourself accountable. But it's not as easy as if you're having a coach and someone that's holding you accountable. And the reason why entrepreneurship and going out there on your own is so difficult oftentimes for people versus the corporate world is because in the corporate world we have almost like duties. We have someone that we have to give our work to. We have someone that we have to report to oftentimes, right? And when you have your own business, you're the one that has to report to yourself. And what happens in that situation is then you tend to do hey Danixa, you do what feels right, right? So if you don't have anyone to report for, if you're having your own business and you don't have to report to anyone, then what happens is we tend to do the things that we feel like doing. And because usually, if you're not comfortable doing something and you have your own business, your brain might trick you into not doing it, versus if you're in the corporate world and you know you have to do it because you have management. So one of the key things and one of the sales skills that I recommend people use to continuously coach on is really the main thing, and this is like the biggest thing you should be doing when you have your own business, is this sales mindset and the sales energy. And because that is going to basically determine all the other skills that you have to learn, all the other sales skills like objection handling and getting on calls and keeping those relationships and referral getting and testimonials and all those other sales skills that we're learning through sales Bible books. The Jeffrey Gadamer, he has a sales Bible. I've read every sales book, I can tell you. And there's so many sales books out there that teach you the skills and the training of how to get on a call with someone, how to talk to someone. But what about your own self, right? Holding yourself back if you don't feel good that day and you're not into it or you don't want to do it, right? If you have your own business and you're a creative entrepreneur, you're a coach or someone that is really doing sales for yourself and you don't have anyone else that's holding you accountable, then that's where it can get tricky, and that's where you're consistently having to stretch your mindset and remind yourself that you are the CEO of your business, and what would a CEO do, right? So separate yourself and your feelings and how you're feeling while you're doing your work, because nowadays, right now, a lot of us are working from home. If you're usually in the corporate world and you're usually working at a company, you're probably working from home. So you actually have to take some of this as well, even if you're not an entrepreneur, is how are you managing yourself? How are you managing your time? How you manage your energy? How are you managing your mindset and the way you're thinking about your tasks? Are you putting them off because you don't feel like doing them? And that's not the way a CEO is thinking, right? A CEO separates themselves from their business. And so what I mean by that is you just, as a CEO, you know what you need to get done. Even if you don't feel like doing it, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's not perfect, you get it out the door. Versus if you're an entrepreneur and you're kind of a new entrepreneur and there's certain things you maybe don't feel like doing, or you come across it and it's uncomfortable and so you ignore it. So say you might have to reach out to someone and you feel like, I don't really want to bother them or bug them and maybe I'm going to say something wrong. And then you just like put it off because it's uncomfortable. Or maybe it's about your social media, right? There's so many different areas depending on you, what your skill set is. So for instance, right now, one of the things that I'm teaching a lot of people is to build up your personal brand. Whether or not you work for a company or you have your own business, freelance, the key thing is to build up your brand, and you can do that really well on social media. And one of the ways to do that is to be consistent with building up your personal brand, knowing your core values, what makes you different and what makes you stand out. But one of the things that stops us from building our personal brand is, number one, the confidence in owning our genius and owning our magic and what we're good at, but also the strategy side of, oh, how do I do Instagram stories, or how do I post on Instagram, or how do I make the squares on my Instagram look nice, or how many posts a day, or what time should I post, right? That kind of stuff is really not as important as getting in control of your mind and saying, what I'm putting out there is I'm learning every single time I put a new post out, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's what I see all the time, is people tend to stumble on their own perfectionism, which is actually procrastination. Perfectionism is a form of procrastination, and what procrastination really comes down to is you're wanting to be in control, and your fear, right? Your fear and your insecurities, perhaps about what other people think, right? There's so many other levels of what the mindset of it could be. But I mean, I know that I struggled with this for a while too, where I was building my personal brand, and I would look at other people's posts and I would say, oh my God, I wish I could write as well as sorry, I just got a text from someone. I wish I could write as well as that other person's writing. Oh my gosh, my copywriting skills aren't the greatest. And what that would do, it would leave me frozen in looking at other people's posts, trying to figure out if I was writing a good post. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous, right? Instead of really tuning into what I really knew and what my genius was, and just writing and just doing it. And the thing is you are going to get better the more you do something. I recently read a quote from Margaret Atwood, who is an incredible Canadian writer. She's written The Handmaid's Tale, which is on Netflix now. So a lot of people probably didn't know her before and now do, because she's on Netflix, her series. And one of the things that she said, now I don't have the quote perfectly, but she basically said that if I had to be perfect if my writing had to be perfect, I would never be a writer. I would never put anything out there. And that's something that you have to constantly remind yourself, the mindset shift of, if I have to be perfect putting out a social media post, or if I have to be perfect talking on the phone or reaching out to someone and knowing exactly what to say, then what's going to happen is you're just going to stay stuck in terms of procrastinating because it's something uncomfortable. The key thing is to always move and stretch into your discomfort and realize that the more you take action, the easier it's going to get. And I know that for my own business is that, for instance, let's take Instagram. There was a long time where I really felt I was way better at Facebook. I was like, I know Facebook, but I'm not the best at Instagram. And I also I wasn't the greatest at Twitter. I still don't do Twitter, actually. But I mean, I can do it, but it doesn't resonate with me. So anyway, I was I was just not believing in myself on Instagram. I just said, I can't make a pretty feed. I don't know how to do this. I can't, oh my gosh, I'm putting all these content out here, writing the perfect caption, has to be on a certain amount of words. And it was just overwhelming to me. So I just didn't do it the amount of time as Facebook. And the only reason why I was good at Facebook is because I kept doing it and doing Facebook Lives and putting posts out there and not worrying it because I thought, well, you know what? The next post is going to go up and that one's going to be gone, right? But with Instagram, I think why a lot of people struggle with Instagram is because it is so picture perfect. A lot of people go on Instagram for that inspiration and to feel inspired because of all the pretty pictures. So you feel like you have to be perfect on there. But what I realized is there's a lot of accounts that have, the funny one thing, this is a side note, but one thing that cracks me up is celebrity accounts. So many of them, there's no design to the celebrity accounts, right? If you look at like Gwyneth Paltrow's account or Jennifer Garner or Reese Witherspoon, yes, their company accounts are, usually well designed like Goop, but Gwyneth Paltrow's account, you look at it and it's not like an Instagram influencer's account. It's got a quote here, a random video here. It's just not organized. I'm like, they've got so much money in the world. Why don't they just get someone to design it? But you know what? They don't care because they've already got millions and millions of followers. So the key thing is remind yourself, like, if celebrities don't have to have the perfect account, you don't either. And the key thing is, obviously, you're not going to have millions and millions of followers right away like a celebrity, but what you can do is you can just start getting consistent and getting better at it, and then you can start thinking about improving your feed and making it look nice and pretty. And that's what I did. I just started saying, just get consistent on it, just get better at writing captions and copywriting and putting images out there, and then, do what you can to make it look nice on your feed. And then what I did is I actually took a course on how to make my feed look nice and how to write captions and how to do the color schemes for my brand. And so that's what you can do. But the thing is to start doing it first and not being afraid and just letting go of that perfectionism. All right, so let me just go through some of my other notes because I've sort of just been riffing here. All right, so one of the ways that you can improve your sales skills through coaching is really the accountability. One of the main things that my clients need from me is me to, number one, look at their greatness and know that they're amazing and, excuse me, and tell them that and consistently hold them to that highest potential that they have. But the other thing is really working with them on that accountability, especially if they're entrepreneurs, because I work with a lot of creative entrepreneurs, and that being that person that, we talk I actually do 3 calls a week with my private coaching, 3 calls a month, and then I have a week off during the month, but we're consistently in touch, right, over a special software that I have. So basically, we're in touch all the time. And so what happens is, say they're supposed to let's pretend they have to put out 5 Instagram posts. They maybe want to put out a video. Maybe they want to do a LinkedIn. Maybe they want to put out some Facebook, and they have like a sales strategy, right? They have a marketing and sales plan in place, okay? So I could give them the sales plan and say, bye, thank you, here's what you got to do it, right? But that's teaching, and the reason why that doesn't always work, and you could take course after course and program after program and literally know the step-by-step marketing and sales plan, but the reason why it doesn't always work is because our mind gets in the way and because we question and we lose belief. And so the key thing with having the coaching and the accountability part is really you can give them that plan and then help them implement that plan. And so if they get a mindset like they get something stuck in their mindset where we're supposed to follow up with someone, or maybe they're supposed to do 10 calls today, or maybe they're supposed to put a post out and they're procrastinating on it. The thing is they can reach out to me and say, hey, I'm getting a block around this. I'm having a block around writing this post. I've tried to write it 5 times and I can't get it through, or I really want to call this person but I'm not ready, or I want to start an event. Like one of the things that I teach is launching an event or a challenge or a big masterclass to really bring in more audience members, but I'm getting stuck on putting together the lead magnet or the lead page. And it's really about getting them through that block, the block of feeling uncomfortable. And a lot of the times the reason why there's a block there is, number one, it's a new skill. Maybe they haven't done it before. Number 2, maybe they're not the best at that skill and they're not perfect at it, right? The things that you're really good at, you're usually not going to get blocked in because you're just used to doing them. And other people might say, oh my gosh, you're so good at that, right? So for me, I'm really good at phone calls. And other people might think, oh my gosh, that's so hard for me. I don't know how to get on a phone call. But it's just something that I have a lot of practice in. Versus me, I have other things that I might not be great at. So you're really good at, right? So those skills that you need to get better at. And the other thing is really understanding that our minds do not want us to be in pain ever. They do not like to be in any type of uncomfortable feeling. So it will do anything to tell you you don't feel like doing it. And if you're an entrepreneur and you're working for yourself and you haven't been doing it for a long time, likelihood of your brain being able to make some excuse for you, even if the excuse is like silly, you might believe it. And so that's the key thing, is when we work together, anytime someone's reaching out to me, and we have a plan of what they're supposed to do for the week, obviously because we talk every week except for that 1 week, they will be able to say, well, I'm supposed to do these posts and I'm having problems on this, so I would help with the copy editing. I don't write the posts, but I do help with copy editing and going back and say, where are you finding the block? And then being able to give them questions so that they themselves can determine why they're starting to feel this way, right? Are they having a mindset block of perfectionism? Are they having that mindset block of needing to be in control or not feeling good enough? And that is so key. So, all right, so I'm just going to give you the answer to the thing. What's the main skill you have to work on in sales? And honestly, guys, it's a mindset. It's really mindset and getting out of your own way to actually do the skills and do the work. And the thing is if the work is something that you're not the best at, then those are the skills you need to work on, right? And that's why it depends on you. So if you're not really good at making phone calls and booking discovery calls, you want to work on those skills. If you're not the best at building those relationships, you want to work on those, or objection handling. But overall, you're going to get better at those skills if you consistently work on your mindset of being able to push through and learn a new skill, and without being worried or feeling blocked about actually doing it because it's something brand new. So what we do is we would coach and we would work with them usually over a period of time on a specific skill that they want to work on. So if someone's having problems getting on sales calls, then you might say, that's a skill we're going to work on this week. We're going to work on you trying to get more sales calls. And we're going to work through the blocks in terms of why it's hard for you and the things that we can do to help you get the sales calls. Or if your mindset block is around, I'm not being consistent on social media, we're going to work on getting you consistent together and work through that together. So instead of me just giving you work and saying, here you go, do these 7 social media posts and 2 videos and go off on your way and don't ask for my help. The key thing is, if you're trying to write a post or you're getting blocked, oh my gosh, I really don't know what I'm going to do the topic for this video, or I don't really know if I should do it, then we're going to work together to push through that. Okay, so to really hold you accountable to that. All right, so some of the skills, I'm just going to go through some of the sales skills that are more practical, and I've already talked about the skills that are more, what do you call them? Well, they're still practical, but they're not something that you really read in a book. So the things that you don't really read in the book are things like mindset, energy, confidence, faith, belief, right? But the more practical skills, I'm just reading my notes, that are things like pipeline management, understanding the pipeline that you have of the leads going from brand new lead to sold to or getting a referral from them, right? Like that's a key thing in sales, is understanding how to manage your own pipeline, your sales pipeline. Another thing is handling objections, scheduling appointments and booking sales or discovery calls. That's something that you want to get good at in terms of skills. Being able to get referrals and having a referral system in place. Being able to get testimonials. How do you retain customers, right? How do you retain your clients and customers? What is that special touch that only you have, and that special something that you can give that is unique to you, that really keeps them on board? The closing percentages, you really want to start getting to know those. You want to know your average orders. You want to know what are the type of offers that are working for your business. You want to have like validation on that. You want to have your goals set and understand how to set goals, and how do I even do that for the month, for the year, quarterly. And also prospecting and follow-ups, right? Those are other skills that you want to learn. Let me see here. What else did I have? I think I followed. What did I say here? Okay. I think I read the whole sheet, but I went backwards. Oh, the last thing. That's why I was like skipping something, because I wanted to like focus on it as a separate thing. And then I'm like, forgot what I was skipping. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is systems. So for these more practical sales skills, what I tend to do with my clients is I really work on the systems for them, so those skills get much easier and they can be actually given to a virtual assistant or handed off to someone else. So for instance, if you have a system for putting out your social media, for instance, say it's one post on Instagram and you do a video and you do a blog post, and you start doing it yourself, but then you have a system that you can create for that, and you can give it to someone else to help you with that system, and then literally the time is cut in half in terms that it takes you to do something, right? Because it could take you a full day to not only promote but market your stuff online and write the content. But if you have a system for writing content in advance and then having someone else promote it and put it out there, that'll really cut that time in half. So every single skill can have a system in place to really help you with that. You can have a testimonial system in terms of when do you ask for those testimonials, a referral system, a system for objections where you have your objections and how you tend to answer people in a booklet so that you never feel stumped on what to answer. And you might have a system for how do you do your discovery calls and your sales calls. I give a lot of my clients scripts, and that becomes a system, so it makes it easier, and it comes to the point where they might not need that script in front of them, although I do like to have skeleton scripts in front. So that's the thing, is all these sales skills that seem overwhelming when I read off that list, eventually you learn to create a system around them that makes it easier. And then once you have the skills and the systems, the main thing to back up, the main thing that you need to do is really get clear on your mindset, so then that you can put those systems and skills in place and not be worried. Because listen, if something is a brand new skill to you, it will be uncomfortable. It will be something that you might want to put off. It's not going to be easy, and you do have to work on it. So when you're working with a coach and accountability, it really is saying, we're going to work through this hard thing together, okay? So I know this is testing you. I know it might be frustrating you. I know you want to ignore it. I know all your mental stuff is coming up about your procrastination and your perfectionism and all that fun stuff. But we are going to work together so that you can push through it and process through it, so that you come out on the other side and you feel, oh my gosh, I did it, and now I can repeat it, right? So that's all I have for today, guys. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to drop down below in the comments any questions you have about sales. I am going to be launching a brand new challenge soon. It's going to happen in a few weeks, and it's going to be right here in this Facebook group. So if you're in here already, you are in the right place. It's going to be a 5-day challenge. It's going to be all about sales. So I'm still putting it together. If you have any sales questions or comments or things that you're wondering about, definitely put in the comments, because I might put it into my sales challenge. I'm still working on the content for that challenge and what to put in there. And so I would love to hear your feedback. Where do you get stuck? What is it about sales that are hard for you? Thanks to Nixa. And what are the things that you really want to work on yourself and that you find that you get stumped in, because I really want to do that with you together and help you in terms of where you want to move forward, right? So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And to Nick said, so great to see you. Bye.